Well, Jared Cannonier has just knocked out Robocop Rodriguez in the fourth round, but we all know he was absolutely finished in the third round. That was a very important win in Jared Cannonier's career. Like, I feel like if you're losing to unranked fighters at that stage of your career, I feel like there's a big issue. Cannonier actually, it wasn't like it was his best performance. He got rocked a good few times throughout the fight. Gregory Rodriguez, man, like he gassed out at the end of the first, and I think that really just shows like the level between like the fighters competing at prelims and like unranked fighters versus going into a main event against one of the top fighters who have fought for the belt. It kind of shows he kind of shit the bed a bit. I thought Gregory Rodriguez actually was doing quite well in the striking, but he didn't really look on after the first round. Like he definitely had moments where Cannonier was rocked, but he just gassed out. And like in the end of the third, I think Cannonier kind of got a takedown or knocked him down, and he was landing some pretty bad ground and pound. And when he started landing that ground and pound, that's when I was like, okay, this is probably the end of the fight now, if I'm being completely honest with you, because like he didn't really look, even in the corner on the stool, he didn't look like he really wanted to go out there and really give it his all anymore after that. Like he was badly hurt and he was cut open really bad, and Cannonier just landed some good shots. And Cannonier actually looked quite sharp throughout the fight. Like he was landing some good hooks. And that was some good hooks when he was up against the cage and things like that. But yeah, Gregory Rodriguez, he was a good favourite going into this fight. Jared Cannonier once again proves why he's one of the top middleweights. This dude just seems to never be going out with the top 10, which is pretty impressive, if I'm being honest. But it's quite hard to see what you do next. Maybe an Anthony Hernandez, Brandon Allen winner. I think that could make sense for Cannonier. He's no problem fighting down and stuff like that. I don't really want to see a Sean Strickland rematch. I know the first fight was quite close and controversial, but I feel like Strickland and Cannonier they're on kind of two different paths. Strickland just fought for the title and stuff like that. Even though he shouldn't be rewarded with anything other than fighting down the rankings against someone like a Cannonier or a Brendan Allen, Anthony Hernandez winner. There's options for both of them. And middleweight once again proves why it's one of the worst divisions in the sport. Middleweight is tragic. This like Cannonier is like 40. Okay, he's 40. He's one of the oldest fighters in the sport, and he's still beating up these young guys. Now, obviously, there is an element of like skill in that. Like, there's no doubt about that. Like, Cannonier's definitely got top skills within that division. Like, his striking's very good, and I do rate Cannonier's wrestling. Like, he's got good takedown defense and stuff like that. He even got Gregory Rodriguez down on this fight. But still, man, like the skill level in middleweight, I don't really see sharp combinations with speed. You know what I mean? They're very kind of prime moving forward with kind of slow combinations to set up their shots. And they're just heavy-handed, and that's where they can rock people. Like, there's no real, like, quick. I don't really see any mad quick middleweights. Do you know what I mean? None of them are really quick. Sean Strickland is quite fast, but, like, he's fast with his teep kick and his jab and absolutely nothing else. Drickus is fast because he's quite sloppy. You know what I mean? We all know Drickus' style is shit, but it just works somehow. Like, no one ever knows how. But yeah, like this was a good fight, but like I'm sitting here now and I'm kind of like, okay, like I don't really care what happens next for either of these guys. Gregory Rodriguez is going to go back to the unranked fields. Do you know what I mean? Give him whoever, like. And Cannonier is probably just going to have to wait out. I do think they could do Rome Delizzi a Vittori winner, if Rome Delizzi wins that fight. Because he fought Cannonier and he beat the absolute fucking shit out of him. Like, that wasn't competitive at all. You don't give Marvin Vittori that fight straight away. They could do a Sean Strickland rematch, but I don't know. Like, Cannonier was actually doing so well there for a while. Like, he was he was on the way up. Like, he beaten Strickland. He was fighting Imavov. He beat Vittori. If he had beaten Imavov, that stoppage was one of the worst in UFC history. Like, if he had beaten Imavov, then he definitely would have been in a number one contender fight. Like, he could have easily been fighting, like, even Hamzat. Like, that's genuinely what the position he would have been in because he was on a, Strickland Vittori and then Imavov 3 in a row. That is cool fucking class run. That is a class run. There would have been no denying him. But he got robbed against Imavov because I didn't have him winning, but he definitely, like, it was an early stoppage, of course. That's kind of what I'm saying. And For Cannonier now, he's going to get who the fuck knows. I do think the Brendan Allen, Anthony Hernandez winner makes sense. You know, they're not far off each other in the rankings. That's this week. The UFC Seattle card is actually falling apart, literally day by day. Like, there's barely enough to fit a main card in that thing. And the fights that are left are bang average. Bang average. That fight night was so stacked. And one by one, they all just fell. And yeah, I saw Rob Font is booked. I'm not sure if it's for that card or not, but he's booked up again. Dominic Cruz is retired. Curtis Blades got moved. It's just an absolute disaster, to be honest with you. But Calvin Kattar versus Yusuf Salal in the co-main event. What an absolute terrible style Yusuf Salal has. Like you're just running from Kattar the whole fight. This fight reminded me of Arnold Allen versus Giga Chikadze, where he's just running away from him, trying to point fight him at range and do a little bit more than your opponent, which I don't rate that at all. At all. That is shit. Okay, that is a shit way to fight and a shit style to have. And I don't like that one bit. He's going to get found out real quick by the top fighters, in my opinion. Someone who's able to cut off the range and close the cage and gets you... Once someone figures out which way you're kind of moving, they're going to be able to counter you so bad that you're going to get shinned. And Kattar, it's really sad to see Kattar kind of fall off. Like, it was such a top featherweight there for a while, and he got robbed by Josh Emmett in a Josh Emmett fight, which would have secured him a interim title shot versus Yair in Australia on the Bulk Islam 1 card. Yair versus Kattar would have been an absolute fucking sick fight. It would have been an absolutely sick fight. But we never got that. Robbed. You know, Arnold Allen injury, shit happens, and then he lost Aljamain Sterling, lost to Yusuf Salal now. Kattar's definitely done. His career's over at the top. He could fight. You know, he's good to have on a card. Like, he could fight unranked fighters. Like, there's still you know, like a Jonathan Martinez or something like that, as a co-main of an Apex card. Not bad. Yeah, but this guy was literally fighting Max Holloway at one stage. Like, that is crazy. And he was in a number one contender fight. And how times have changed, like, it's pretty crazy to see. But Yusuf Salal, that was an absolutely terrible style. Absolutely terrible. I don't respect that style one bit. Running around the fucking cage. Like at least try and engage. He got Kattar down, I think, in the third. He was trying some takedowns, but that just pissed me off, to be honest with you, that kind of a style. Like, running away from your opponent the whole fight. Like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Like, he's going to get found out so bad. And I literally have watched this guy for years. Like, I watched him when he got cut from the UFC. And I kept up with his regional career because I was like, this guy is actually really good. But then you put on performances like that. Okay, you put on performances like that, I'm like, man, fuck is that? Do you know what I mean? What the fuck is that? But yeah, he's not really going to go far in that top 5. Like, he's definitely going to be a ranked fighter from now on. He's going to probably be like maybe 12th or 13th now. Kattar was 10. I don't see him slotting into a number 10 spot. You know what I mean? He could get like a Edson Barbosa, you know, fight next if Edson Barbosa wins his fight. Bryce Mitchell's out there. Who wouldn't want to see Bryce Mitchell lose? That would be an absolute snooze fest. You got Josh Emmett versus Lerone Murphy booked as well for a 5-rounder. You know, matchups like that, even Giga Chikadze, he's coming off a loss. Give him, you know, Yusuf Salal. That's a potential matchup. I think that makes sense. But this card was actually a really good card. I actually enjoyed watching it. Main event was quite good. I give it a solid 7 out of 10. It's just middleweight, isn't it? Like, you know what I mean? But it was actually, they were landing good combinations and we were slugging it out for a while. And co-main event was probably a 3. Like, he just ran around the cage. But what can you do? But that's the end of this video. Thanks for watching.